Good morning. The points which I had been discussing, have you thought about it? Is there any doubt in your mind? Is there any confusion? Or do you agree with it? Or do you want to add something to it? I'll be very happy to get your feedback. I will conclude the people skill today and go further in the next week's lecture. A little bit of summarizing. People skill is possible when you have positive personal skills. People skill is, it is not endowed automatically. People skill can be grown. What happens in colleges or schools, there are some students, they come forward to learn or exercise various kind of skills associated with the people. That means they don't remain bogged down with their own notebooks and books. They want to come forward and meet people, mix with people, organize events, participate in the events, by which what happens is the people skill gets generated. My suggestion to youngsters is that don't sit back, don't watch, don't hesitate. Go forward, try to learn all these skills. It is not necessary that in one day you will become rich in these skills, because many people, they earn their skills over time. You are lucky if just genetically you have some of these skills, but I can tell you these skills are the results of the association during your growing period. If you remain, or if you are growing in a joint family or a bigger extended family, then many of the things that you automatically imbibe or learn seeing others, your relatives, your seniors, your contemporaries, your juniors. But if you are from a single nuclear family, that you have your parents, father, mother and yourself, then what happens is many of the manifestations of this kind of soft skills you are not exposed to. Now, if you are not exposed to, now you go to school and you don't mix with people because you are very introvert and you don't like to mix with people because you feel comfortable not by mixing, because mixing means there will be chats, there will be a bit of teasing each other, there will be more of humors, funs, jokes and slangs and all that, which you don't like. Then what happens is, if you don't communicate with people, don't mix with people, then what happens, this kind of skills don't come within you. So you are growing up in a very strongly small nuclear family in which your parents and you, and now you go to school and remain introvert, don't really interact much with others, and suddenly one day you become a good event manager or manager. I don't think it is possible. No, it's not, because to become a good manager, to become a good leader, to become a good coach or mentor, there are many things which you are learning from others. So I consider mixing, socializing with people with a note of cautioning, right people. You socialize with anybody, it does not help. Socializing with right people, and then you imbibe all the positives, and then you emulate what you thought is something which is missing in you and you have seen in some others. If you could emulate, try it, and if you emulate it and then you try to work, you will find that your all these people skill, social skill, all these will come up. Sometime even your innovative skill, which are not very intrinsic, innovative skill, you innovate facing a situation, and you face a situation when you mix with people. If you don't talk to anybody, then how do you know how to converse? If you don't talk to difficult people, then how do you know what a difficult conversation is? If you don't talk to a boring conversation oriented people, how do you know that it's boring? If you don't talk to somebody who speaks so nice, who is a good orator, if you don't mix with him, how do you know what a good oration is? The point is, my suggestion, to get your soft skill enhanced, you really did not go to a school, a special school who teaches soft skill. You mix with people with caution, mix with people with restrictions, mix with people with your judgment, and then you acquire all the positives that you think you don't have but others do have, emulate it. At the same time, you also be very honest to yourself. There are many things which may be negative in you as a personality or in terms of skill. Then I would say, if you find something negative, then when you are mixing with people, when you are imbibing the positive, then you dump out the negatives. You will find one day you will become a good personality with overall personality with several positive soft skills. But if you mix with wrong groups, socialize with wrong people, then you are likely to land up in a wrong kind of skill enhancements or emulation. That's why I said that people are known by their company. If the company is good, the person is going to be good. If the company is bad, then the person is going to be bad. So people are known by their company. So my suggestion to the youngsters, to the budding students, that always select right company. At the same time, at least keep your eyes and ears open for the bad company, so that you know what is bad. If you have never seen what is bad, then suddenly when you face some bad situations, then you won't be able to tackle it. So it is, those people who are mixing with majorly with good people, good company, and minorly with bad companies, they make their own judgment. But it's only you who can control your own skill set, who can enhance your skill set. Nobody can inject a skill within you. Okay, so if it is people skill, I am continuing with by your mentors. Talent management is done by your project managers. Basically what it is, you remember I said that you encourage performances or talents. That means if somebody has talent, then encouraging is one thing. At the same time, can you tackle it? Because if you are lucky, then you will have say 5-6 talented people in your group. Again, I am putting a note of cautioning. I am not saying they are your subordinates. I am saying your team. In this particular team, if you have 5-6 such talented people, then it becomes very difficult to handle this talent or tackle these talents, because to tackle these talents means you are going to go through a tremendous emotional activities. That is important. Talent management is trying to identify talents, pick the talents, give the opportunity to get the talents flourished or nourished, and then take the benefit of it. So talent management, many big organizations, they try to spot the talents, and spotting the talents is not done straight on the face. Spotting the talent is through feedbacks, through observations, through results, through testing. So when these are done, talents are being tracked, okay, and then how do you manage it to get the best result is your target. So naturally talent identification is going to come. Now talent identification, if you can identify this properly, right talent. See, in the host of people whom you are working with, people have applied to your organization and they have joined. When they have joined, you have identified their talents, and that's why you have selected. And once you have selected, then in such cases what will happen is you have identified that what talent the person has. Why did you select him? Why did you appoint him? Because you want to get the best out of that person. So if I put it, in fact, alphabetically it should have been earlier. So you identify proper talent and then you manage those talents well. If you don't do it, identifying a good talent and not managing properly does not give you good benefits. So if you are a manager, if you are an owner of an organization, if you are a leader of a team, if you are a mentor, if you are a coach, then your first skill should be in terms of talent is identify the talents. When you are identifying the talents, I will just put a little bit of note of cautioning based on my personal experience. Quite often what happens is, in a company, if there is a talented person and he finds there is another talent coming in, he becomes threatened. It's a reality. It's a psychological play. Nobody can deny it, that he becomes slightly threatened that will he be replaced by another talent now. It happens in the team selections. It happens in the position selections in the company. So, talent identification has to be done by people who are not in competition. So, if you are not in competition, then you can identify talent better. But if you are yourself a very talented person and you are now in competition and you are trying to find out another talented person, then you feel threatened. So, this is a very strong reality, harsh reality. So, talent identification has to be done by a set of people who are assigned in your company and who will now spot the talents. Spotting the talents in two ways. One is spot the talents within. That means, in your organization, you have 50 people who are working, and now you identify each and every individual's talent. These are also sometimes done by feedbacks. So, wrong feedback given by your superior may lead to your less explored talent of yours. So, be very careful. Try to give a clear idea about your talent. That means, how do you show your talent? By performance. So, you perform. Now, here I have a suggestion to all of you. If you are now performing to show your talent, then make sure that your talent has been identified. This is a different kind of game I am saying. You are expecting that you do perform well and your superior or your boss is going to identify your talent. I am sorry, it may not happen that way. It may not be intentional, but the thing is, it is taken as like a natural process. Okay, a person I have taken, he is performing well. But if you have talent, then in such case, if you are performing a little better than others, then you have to make sure that your authorities or your organization leaders, they are spotting your talents, for which you do not have to fake, but make sure that your talent is identified. Not necessarily that immediately you will be given increments or a better position, not necessary. But if your talent is identified, then what will happen is you might be given more opportunities, more privileges, more compensation. So, you must see that your talent is, first of all, if you possess your talent, you make sure. Okay. Now, in the talent identification, once I said that if you are talented yourself and you are looking for another person similarly talented, then there is quite likely that you will be threatened. But here also I would put it that it is not always true. An honest, talented person would probably make his team better. So, a good scientist will always take a very good scientist, and good leaders of very flourished companies, they always say that if you are running your company, when you make a selection, you select people who are more talented than you, who is better than you, who is a better performer than you. Now, this is a very nice philosophy. Here, you never consider that you are threatened, because you consider you are talented. You are taking a person, a talented person, more talented than you. Basically, it is going to add your talent and his talent together, now becomes double talent. So, do not look at it negatively, never feel threatened. If you find that you are getting a good talent, take him in the team and give him an opportunity to flourish or show his talents, so that it can also take some of your loads. That means, you can offload some of your activities to another talented person. One thing is very sure, that if you are talented and you take a less talented person in your team and you are offloading your work, that does not work. So, the thing is, here identify good talents and then make sure that his talent is also recognized, appreciated, bring him under the umbrella of the same team and work together. So, never feel threatened in such cases. But when I am saying people feel threatened, I have seen people feel threatened. Quite often, for if there are two experts for the same subjects, where only one course will be offered and there are two options, then quite often the person who is taking a course for last few years, either he wants to shirk it off and give it to the other person who is talented, is fine, or else he feels that if that person joins, my subject will be taken away from me and given to him, feels threatened. Look at it positively, sportingly, that never consider another talented person is your competitor. Consider another talented person who is going to push you forward together. Talent search is a process. You must have heard about the headhunters. You might have been getting lots of telephone calls from somewhere you never knew who he or she is. You are getting a call that, okay, your details are there, and would you like to join some company, or would you like to float your own CV or resume to them so that they can contact the other companies. The headhunters are there. Headhunters, why it is called headhunters? What is the head? Head is nothing but the talent, the host of talent, the container of talent. That's called headhunters. If they're looking for workers, they will say body shoppers, That means they want workers who will do manual labors. But talents are not simply manual labor. A manual labor may be aided with talents, but talents is everything in the mind, in your intellectual capability. So talent searching, there are lots of techniques by which you can do the talent searches, but still I'll say all these processes are to a certain extent fuzzy. It's not the pure mathematics that you do this, then you are talented. No. It may so happen a highly talented person is not performing well. It may so happen because the situation that you have led him to, he is not being able to perform well. So talent you have searched, but the talent has not been performing well. So you have to understand this very clearly. So when you think about searching, now you have to be open to the public. You have to look for items to be seen in the mind of the others, the talents in the mind of others. So search your talent very selectively. Most often, people who are searching talent, let's take an example, like you must have seen selection committees who are selecting talents for 11 or 12 players for the cricket team of the country, or football field of the country, or basketball of the country. There's a team comprising of 3 to 5 persons who are sitting there somewhere watching everybody play. Everybody is playing within a given time, with a given framework. Now, this selector's role is to see within that limited time, how would you spot the talents? A very, very mind-boggling, intellectual exercise or emotional exercise. If you make a mistake, maybe one very rare activity, performance, you are considering this to be a talent, which may not be true, which may be a fluke. Or somebody is not performing well, but he has a strong talent, and you don't select him. This may happen. Right or wrong, I am not questioning. It's a selection committee who will decide, but it's a very strong emotional exercise, intellectual exercise. They are trying to see in different situations how these people are performing. So when you are selecting somebody for your business, watch them from somewhere else. That means you now make a selection committee. And for selecting various top level positions in our country, we have search committee. The search committee the first action may be that advertise. And once it is advertised, if the advertisement has fallen in the right hands, they will now apply. And now the search committee will scrutinize it with the facts that has been stated in the resume of the applicant. Now it is very critical that the search committee is so competent that they can make out from that resume that what is the actual talent of that person. And then they shortlist, and after shortlisting, then they take interview. And that means the search committee has searched the talents, the talented people, and made sure that their advertisement is reaching all the talented people. So sometimes what happens is, for some positions, it's not only newspaper advertisements, even sometimes personal calls by which one is requested to apply for this post. It happens with the top level positions, or sometimes even from a distance somebody is being watched. So search committee identifies the talents, and once the search committee identifies the talents and then make them apply so that they come into the selection processes, and then they shortlist. After they have shortlisted, now they will take interviews, and then they will make the final selection. So if 100 people applied, of which 20 have been shortlisted, and then out of that one person has been selected, can you imagine the whole process? It's not very easy. There has to be fairness, there has to be transparency, there has to be proper process, there has to be protocol, there has to be information, there has to be a structure of information by which one should apply. Now, if you are running a business, then in such cases, your talent search starts with referrals. You ask, you know which are the companies whom you are interacting with. Then you ask your known people, insider there, about some people. But sometime this results into poaching. We call poaching. That means there is one talented person in one company who is your competitor. Now you put an insider into it and then ultimately give a hint to the other person, apply in my company, and then you take him with a little bit of increment, and that person leaves that company and comes to you. That's called poaching. That's negative. But that poaching I am not going into. Is right or wrong in business, I don't want to comment on it. But the thing is, what one company is doing is searching the talent, identifying a talent in another company, and alluring that particular talented person to join this company with benefits, opportunities and all that, and the growth opportunities and all these promises. This is the process. Okay. Somebody will always say, don't take my people. It happens. One faculty joins here. After 1 year, he is being allured by another institution. This faculty after 1 year leaves and goes to the other company, other institutions. Right or wrong, I should not comment, because it may be right. But okay, some people argue saying, no, it's wrong. When he didn't have a job, this institution has given him a job. But who ensured that for the lifetime he is supposed to be here? If suppose after joining he finds that his growth trend or growth pattern or his competitions in front, or maybe the prospects for promotions or for increments are not very good, and he is finding another company is there who is going to give, or another institution is there who is going to give a better opportunity, why shouldn't he leave? So right or wrong, ethics or not ethics, or say wrong ethics, this I don't want to comment on this issue, but I'm only focusing on talents. If there's a talent can always be taken by others. Team building is basically the group making. I have talked about this team building earlier. Means you select. Now if I try to connect it, you search for talent, you identify a talent, and you make a team. If you go by this process, you make a team of talented people, and now you manage these talented people to get a product out. It's a very right, positive approach. But it requires your own skill to communicate with people, to encourage people, to motivate people, to mentor people who are talented to get certain products. This is how you should look at it. So people's skill, maybe individually they are all individual skills, but the thing is, when you think about in totality, many of them start working together. Teamwork, team building is all right, but how about the teamwork? Team building you have done, but is it working properly? It depends on team management as well. Okay, how it works, so that you have a target, you have a start point, you have an end point, how the entire team is working. But I'll tell you, the teamwork will be good if your team building is right. If your team building is done, but the teamwork is not really working together in harmony, in synergy, then your result is going to be negative. So this is also another important thing, in which the leaders have a great role to play, the managers have a great role to play. Sometimes team building is done by the organization, and some people are selected from different departments of that company and to undertake a work, but the teamwork is not functioning. Teamwork means everybody is putting their own self and the best they are trying to put in getting the results. So teamwork, good team building does not necessarily become a good teamwork. But I can tell you, a good teamwork definitely may depend on good team building. You did not make a good team, but you are expecting a good teamwork, impossible. And selecting the right persons in the team is one of the very essential thing. You want to put, if you don't see a good teamwork, then you have to be very seriously watching and analyzing that what has gone wrong, which team member is not the fittest over there, or is there any team member who is odd person out in this particular team who is not performing well. Okay, so this teamwork is working together. This becomes very important. Team performance is, okay, teamwork will result in a good team performance. Here, see, why I put it here after work, though it is alphabetically should have come afterwards. Basically, team building leads to good teamwork, and good teamwork is going to give a good performance. This is very much inevitable. If you take these cases very seriously and try to understand, you will find that all these which are coming in these particular slides are so much person specific or person dependent. Everywhere you are the person who is trying to make things positive and such. Okay, so team performance will be good if the teamwork is good. Teamwork will be good if the team building has been good, and team performance is going to give you the good results. So when you are in the business, I'll tell you, I always consider a good business is a good indicator of a good team selected by the company. Good workers, don't use the term called workers in a negative way, but the worker means everybody who is performing. And a good output of a company is a result of good team that has been selected based on good talents and who are having a good teamwork, very harmonized and synergetic work, and then performing well and producing some outcomes. That indicates a good company's work. But if you now see in a different manner, you have a bad team built, you cannot ensure a good teamwork, because bad team will never be a good teamwork. And if it is a bad teamwork, then you cannot expect that everybody will be performing well. Individually they may be good, but sometime you must have heard this very loosely said, individually we are heroes, but unitedly we are zero. What does it mean? Individually there are all talented people, but the team building has been so weak, so poor, that every individual may be highly talented, but good teamwork was not there. So unitedly the result was zero. You have to pay very strong attention to this. What we want in business is united. Individually we must be all hero, and then unitedly we should also be heroes. That means then it makes a real good outcome of a company. Troubleshooting is a very strong people skill, which is I talked about the crisis management, I talked about the problem solver. Basically troubleshooting is, there are some people in a company or in your organization or maybe amongst your friends who can solve the trouble in a very, very simple manner. We call them as troubleshooters. But if you keep on solving lots of such, shooting all these troubles several times, this troubleshooter sometime is given extra incentives, because this person is always eager to solve the trouble, to solve the problem. Okay? So troubleshooting is one of the people skill, because troubleshooting cannot be done individually. It has to be, though there has to be an individual activity maybe, but he has to take many people in the team and work together to solve this problem. So troubleshooting is another very strong people skill. Up to this is the people skills that I have talked about. In the next classes, I will talk about the other types of skills, and those skills are basically is going to be slightly specialized, and the specialized skills are highly dependent on individual intrinsic capability of the person. One can imbibe people skill, but look at this, somebody who has a specialized skill, it is just by chance that one has got an exposure and he has become specialist in solving such kind of problems, or has that kind of skill. So whenever we are thinking in terms of, let's say, personal skill, it is the skill you must have intrinsically, build. Innovative skill, within your intellectual limits or abilities, you can innovate. But the personal skill is very, very important, because before you walk into the domain of social skill or people skill and other skills, you have to be personally very, very proper and skillful. A very poor personal skill rarely has demonstrated good people skill. But okay, I cannot say so strongly, maybe in some cases where we find that some weak personal skills helps in solving some people skill. But I am not citing these examples now. Maybe in discussion sometime it will come. But however, looking at it positively, try to have all positive personal skills. Innovative skill you may have, may not have, but that does not make you weak. Your social skill is the experiments by which you hone your skills to interact with people. People skill is when you are having more social skills and now you are more experienced or exposed to the people's interaction, you start getting the people skills imbibed. Specialized skills are something which can be, you have to earn it, you have to learn it. But okay, sometimes we say all these soft skills are not generally taught, but I think there are some skills which can be not taught really, but trained. It's possible. Okay, in the next week we will discuss more on this kind of soft skills. In fact, you will see in this particular course, the way I had declared earlier, I thought I'll talk less about soft skill and then I'll go into the others. But more I'm discussing on this, I'm finding that unless I discuss about all these soft skills a little more detail, then probably I'll not be able to do justice when I'll give examples for the others. Okay, so whatever I've declared in my course, I will cover them up in my time. But only thing is, I'm making a little bit of internal adjustments so that something which I'm elaborating more, and in other cases I can take advantage of this discussion and reduce my time over there. So wait for this 12 weeks altogether. So far today I'm completing my 4th week. So let's wait for the 5th week. Okay. If you have any points to be raised, you can always write to me. I have already given my contact email ID and the contact phone number. Please feel free, even individually contact or write it in forum or contact through forum, and we'll communicate. Enjoy this course, and if you take all the positives out of this course, we'll be very happy because we are doing this with a lot of research in between. Okay. Thank you very much for your time dispensed. Thank you.